Hey guys, welcome to the new chapter of Decoding Venture. This is where we break down the latest in technology and business and also serve you the classics and timeless wisdom. This is where we educate entrepreneurs, investors, and retail audiences on everything from crypto to startups to entrepreneurship to actually building a fund if you're an emerging fund manager. Let's begin with our first episode, which focuses on the different themes within the crypto landscape and how this is evolving. But before we dive into what's happening, right, I would like to speak a little bit about myself. I'm your host Suraj, and I've been in crypto for 7 years in varying roles, right from being a trader and an investor on the retail segment to evolving into a professional within crypto. And also an entrepreneur building my own products at the intersection of both crypto and AI. I feel I've experienced different shades of this beautiful landscape. I've had my great experiences helping VCs with deal flow, helping VCs actually raise funds, for their own fund chapters, and also helping entrepreneurs building the latest in DeFi, NFT, DAOs, etc. So I've interfaced with maybe over 100 projects easily from around the world who are building some amazing things. I am a regular at most of the conferences, especially if you're going to any of the popular ones like Token 2049 or any of the ETH Global events. I'm always speaking to builders, I'm speaking to entrepreneurs, I'm also networking with VCs and the LPs that actually fund the VCs as well, to have a overall and ecosystem-wide view and knowledge on this landscape. So before we dive into what crypto is, let's look at what drives the innovation inside crypto. So I think Bitcoin itself is a great model to look at, and I think this is the lifeblood of the entire system. Most coins have a pairing with Bitcoin, and eventually, a lot of people hypothesize that all the value and all the innovations are going to move to Bitcoin. We may have like layers on top of Bitcoin that assure privacy, scalability, decentralization, etc. Right? Bitcoin does really well on two counts, which is decentralization and security. But on the scalability front, it still needs a layer like Lightning Network or a layer 2 network to scale its capabilities. But what are the central tenets of Bitcoin? I think first and foremost is obviously decentralization, being permissionless, right? You don't need a central authority to issue these coins. You don't need a central authority to monitor the movement of funds. It's also irreversible. The transactions are irreversible and immutable. So if a transaction has taken place, it cannot be reversed. And then you look at the concept of self-sovereignty or self-custody, which is the driving force of this entire the crypto landscape. And what you'll notice, from the different trends and the different scandals and different hacks is whenever we as users or businesses have moved away from the central tenets of Bitcoin or have challenged the very core principles of Bitcoin, something bad has happened. Let me take an example of FTX, right? If it's not your keys, they're not your funds, right? Self-custody. So if you're entrusting a centralized exchange with the custody of your funds, then of course, you're really risking a lot, right? You're believing that the central authority is trustable, and as the FTX episode proved, no central authority can be trusted. The crypto landscape has been evolving. Me personally, I've been involved in the crypto space from 2016, right? When most of the people around me thought of it as a toy, thought of it something that would come and go, but 7 years down, crypto is still alive and kicking, and it's only getting bigger. Today, the kids even call it Web3. So if you're one of them, you're probably in this space after 2020, but I can assure you that everyone who came in before 2020 calls it crypto. The most important aspect that we need to realize in crypto is the core tenet that Bitcoin has said, like self-sovereignty, maintaining custody of your own funds. So we spoke a little bit on the core tenets of Bitcoin and why going against the core tenets may be a bad idea and may not be aligned with the ethos of crypto or Web3. But now let's look at the landscape at large and the different sectors within crypto and how they are evolving. So let's dive deep into some of these segments within the crypto landscape. So a lot of you may be aware of DeFi or decentralized finance, which offers applications like staking, lending, borrowing in a decentralized fashion. However, these products have been prone to hacks. At the smart contract level, the logic has not been sound. There have been exploits, and people have lost a lot of money. However, it still kind of aligns with the core tenet that we discussed on decentralization and programmability, even, right? Even though it's a layer above Bitcoin, because Bitcoin innately does not allow programmability, but applications on Ethereum allow you to have smart contract logic, and this smart contract logic is open source. At least in good DeFi products, somebody can look into the code and know how it should behave. And that's another reason why they can be hacked or they can be exploited. There are interesting innovations coming up in this area, like there's liquid staking that is an entirely new concept. You may want to look at EigenLayer and you may want to see a number of startups that are building liquid staking products. So besides DeFi, there's a good number of innovations that even zero knowledge proofs can bring into decentralized finance, and this is being called ZeFi, especially by ecosystems like Alio that allow a lot of scalability and privacy on their chain. With ZeFi, you can keep transactions private and anonymous. This can give rise to a number of interesting use cases. One of them that comes to mind is private order books, especially when you're trading, not knowing what your counterparty is going to trade against, or even like front running attacks can be stopped by having more privacy in transaction flows. So this is kind of how the DeFi/ZeFi space is evolving. Another sector that has a lot of value for creators, artists, gamers, and beyond is non-fungible tokens. Now, non-fungible tokens allow you to assign ownership to different pieces of artwork, even real estate for that matter, whether be it real or virtual real estate. NFTs have seen a big growth, especially in the last bull cycle, which was 2020 to 2022, right? But ever since you're hearing about NFTs losing their value, some of them have even dropped by 95% in value. Is art ever going to disappear from our lives? Probably no. And by that logic, will NFTs ever actually lose all their value? Probably not. There's going to be collectors, there's going to be more innovations on top of NFTs. NFTs could be used as passports, right, for e-citizenships or in network states or in DAO memberships. So in totality, I don't think NFTs are going to disappear. They're going to find more utility, and projects that have a long-term view, right, and that are able to provide to the community a long-term value, they're going to survive and even thrive, right? But obviously, there are the fly-by-night operators in NFTs, and that's common, right? There used to be a lot of tokenized projects, especially back in 2017-18. Some of them that I even invested in that are not present today, and they were run by fly-by-night operators. And I lost a lot of money, a lot of retail, and even probably some institutional investors lost a lot of money. That's the unfortunate truth of anything new that comes up. Anything goes through an innovation cycle, just like tokenized projects had their innovation cycles where initially there were some scams, there was overinflated valuations, but then there's some sort of normalization, then there's growth again. People understand how these technologies are best used. And I think we're reaching a point where regulation, innovation, and the retail and also institutional understanding of these various innovations are coming to some sort of maturity, and we're going to have a healthier ecosystem as the years go by. So another interesting one is obviously DAOs, or decentralized autonomous organizations. What is a DAO? Basically, community owned and community governed platforms or protocols where the community comes together, they handle the treasury, they handle the different decisions of how the project should evolve, and they look to tackle various problems. It could be something as simple as being a community owned VC fund, which could be a VC DAO, or it could be a social club that is a DAO, right? It could be a men's health group, which is actually a DAO. It could be a network state, right? You may imagine a network state as a layer on top of physical states, which actually have boundaries. But imagine, people living in different countries actually subscribing to the same logic and wanting certain conveniences which they can subscribe to by being part of this network state, right? It could be something as simple as travel discounts, or it could be something a little more complex as certain financial instruments that they get access to because they're part of this network state or this DAO governed state. The DAO structure is being recognized by several states in the US, like Wyoming, and also Singapore and certain other crypto-friendly jurisdictions are taking a more serious look at helping people establish DAOs and building good logics around the governance and the power structures around DAOs. They definitely are a very interesting model, and I think organizations of tomorrow are going to increasingly move towards a DAO model. Maybe not in the next few years, but maybe a decade, we might see the evolution of organizations itself, large enterprises operating as DAOs, where every member has some piece of ownership. So let's talk about the metaverse. There was a lot of chatter and a lot of hype building around the whole metaverse concept, especially close to the end of the last bull cycle in crypto, on metaverse and the applications of metaverse and how it's going to revolutionize the virtual world we live in. Right, the metaverse itself is a universe, that is built on abstract thoughts of humans, and there's going to be multiple universes within the metaverse that will coexist based on people's, different imaginations, different perceptions, and different desires, right? Definitely, there could be industrial applications, gaming applications of the metaverse, and very interesting visualizations such as real estate visualizations become possible on metaverses. There's even metaverse plots or virtual real estate being sold, and there are investors into virtual plots, right? So there is a lot of innovation happening, and this innovation is being supported by the big giants like Facebook, which has even renamed itself to Meta. And there's also Apple that's innovating on the Apple Vision Pro. So hardware as well as software innovations, 3D rendering capabilities, AI processing, which is going to allow us to create these metaverses or 3D scenes and 3D models faster, is going to really skyrocket the proliferation of the metaverse. However, I still think we're early in this whole innovation cycle. I think we're still maybe 3-4 years away from seeing a larger adoption and larger acceptance of virtual worlds and people actually leveraging devices like Apple Vision Pro or similar, right? Because if you go ask your friend or maybe yourself, do you own a virtual headset, to experience the metaverse for what it is? Of course, there can be metaverse concepts that are mobile or desktop friendly, but that's not the whole experience. The whole experience is to be completely submerged in an alternative reality, and the applications or the new neural experiences that you can experience. That's what it comes down to, right? There's things beyond the 3D, which they call 4D, which could be things like olfactory sensors and olfactory emitters that create the right smells, or it could be something related to touch, where you're able to feel different fabrics in the metaverse or different textures and things like that. So this topic obviously, can go very deep, and we can come up with many different ideas and futurisms, but we are very far away from the very futuristic models of the metaverse. We might be more like we'd be more likely to just experience the visual or the 3D forms in the next few years with the headsets and these kinds of gadgets actually gaining mainstream adoption. But yeah, I think it's quite interesting to look at how the fields of AI and also innovations on crypto, like zero knowledge proofs, privacy chains, more scalable L2s, L3s, which will bring out new and different use cases, are going to shape this landscape. But overall, I think I am quite positive on most of these sectors that I spoke about, and I'm still very positive and I'm still very confident on the core ethos of Bitcoin and Bitcoin as a financial instrument and as a store of value. And I think a lot of the innovation may trickle down to Bitcoin, or it may latch on to Bitcoin in some shape, way, or form. But yeah, this is not financial advice, but keep an eye out, keep reading, keep your research up, and I wish you the best of luck. I think crypto is awesome, and just as a fact, I always do these videos, including the last chapter of Decoding Venture, during the lowest point in the bear market, or what I see as the lowest point in the bear market. When there's not a lot of sign of life around, and where people are giving up, where people are not really keeping in tune. So I thought I would bring you this episode. Thank you for watching. So make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and keep coming back for more, because every week we're going to have some amazing content on startups, crypto, and the timeless wisdom of business, building up businesses. Also lots of knowledge on the latest in tech. So keep coming back for more, especially if you're a true hustler. Peace.